Have you felt the power of other people cheering for you? And have you also felt the disadvantage and the annoyance of people competing with you? If so, then you're going to want to listen to this episode and share with friends so that you can both be cheerleading for each other. Hello, lovely dynamic women. Welcome to the Dynamic Women podcast. I am Diane Rolston, your host. And today, the title of today's podcast is Ladies, Let's Cheerlead Rather Than Compete. And what brought this on was in relation to my latest episode where I talked about the things I do after an event. You know what? I've been sitting kind of in the fun place of I did a great keynote, and I got a lot of accolades. But the ones that really mattered the most were from the other speakers and the other women who are kind of at the same level as me in what they're doing in the same industry and such. Having them cheerlead for me, that's the most meaningful. I've been in a lot of situations in my life where people have been intimidated by me. People have felt the need to compete. They maybe went into that place of being jealous and tried to cut me down. And you know what I found? The more we cheerlead for each other, the more room there is for everyone to succeed, not just a few, but for everyone to succeed. So I've got 4 things that you can do to cheerlead more. I'm sure as I talk, I'm going to come up with a 5th one because really 5 always sounds better than 4, but I'm going to start with 4. So the first one is acknowledgements. So acknowledging someone else, and you can do a simple acknowledgement in 4 or 5 words. This is the one I often talk about and teach in my programs. Basically, you are a, and then adjective, and then the title. So it might be, you are a great speaker, or you are a creative designer. Okay, so that can be like professional. It could also be around things more personal or around who they're being. So you are a loving mother. You're a creative or organized sister, friend. So we can go through all these different adjectives, all these different titles, and then you say nothing after, right? So you're acknowledging the person for who they're being. And it's really impactful when you just say the 5 words, or you are, your, and that becomes 4 words. Really simple. So that's an acknowledgement. We're starved for acknowledgements in society because everything is about competition. Everything is about, are you good enough? And the number one limiting belief all rolls down to, you're not good enough. I'm not good enough. And in order to combat that, acknowledgements have such power. So acknowledging someone can be after they go on stage, after they do something. In this case, I'm gonna stick with this being on stage piece, but you just apply it to wherever in your life that you could see someone else and acknowledge them. So in advance of a talk, there was another speaker there who I knew. I had her. She was more of a business owner, but I had her on my podcast, and she does speak as well. And so I went up to her and I just said, "You are going to do so well," right? So that in advance cheerleading and acknowledgement, and then afterwards saying, what your message mattered. You did such a great job. So these acknowledgements in advance and after are really profound. And I've been receiving these different acknowledgements on LinkedIn, on social media, on my posts, on other people's posts, creating their own posts and tagging me in them and saying what they took away from my talk or how well I did. I've been receiving them in emails and just verbally people saying them to me. And I'll tell you, you never hear it enough. So if you think, oh, I'm not going to go up to the speaker, they've already heard it 20 times from the people in advance, still say it. You might say it in the bathroom when you see them and walking down the hallway, in an email later, on LinkedIn, writing them a recommendation, whatever it may be. Don't miss the opportunity to acknowledge. Here's another thing in the cheerleading space. The second thing you can do is take photos with the other people. something I'm very grateful for Michelle Diamond, who did all my photos and does all my photos. When she was at the event, she said, let's get photos with the other speakers. And it's funny because a lot of times I get photos with maybe the organizers, like the person who put on the event, the hosts, the sponsors, and people who just want a photo together with me, people who bought my book and such. But getting photos together with other people really shows that you're cheering them on and you want to collaborate, or you want to just acknowledge and not be in competition with them. So getting the photo and then posting on social media, right? That's really, really cool to do, to show like, hey, this person did awesome and here we are in a photo. So number one, acknowledgements. Number two, get photos together with the other people. And so if you find yourself entering a room and you're intimidated by someone, or you feel like, oh, she does the same thing I do, why not chat and then say, hey, let's get a photo together. It could be a selfie because someone else could take the photo, and then just tag them on social and be like, hey, great meeting you. Super simple to do. So acknowledgements, photos together. Third one is then connecting on social. And so you have that opportunity to be able to tag them, but also friend them, be a connection on LinkedIn, whatever it is. Why would you feel like, oh, we can't be friends on social because we do the same thing or whatever? There's, some people are like, I want to work with her because she has blonde hair and I want to work with her because she has black hair. Like that's how wild it is in the different industries with customers. Might be like, I want to work with her because she's old. I want to work with her because she's younger. I want to work with her because she has kids. I want to work with her because she doesn't have kids. There's so many different reasons, and there's no two people who are the same. Just like your fingerprint, right? Everyone is unique. So connect on social so that you can be in each other's lives. And if you do feel yourself that you're triggered by what they're doing because you're jealous or such, really check in with that. Get some counseling, get some coaching on that so that you can be like, why am I triggered by that? Why is that bothering me? What I found is a lot of times with people I'm jealous of, it's because I'm not moving forward in that area of life and I wish I was like they were. Or I'm triggered by them because they probably have a quality that I have that I'm maybe either not turning up enough, or I feel like, no, I could do better with that. I could turn it down a little bit. So you're connecting on social so that you can be cheering each other on. So how do you cheer each other on? After you connect on social, like their posts, comment on their posts. That's where you can cheer them on in a way that, it doesn't mean you don't have to have them on your podcast or in your book or something, but just to hit the like button is a really easy way for you to cheer on someone else. Even if they're doing a similar thing as you, it is totally fine. So that thing of connecting with them, that's number 3. Number 4 is liking and commenting on their posts. And I got a 5th one for you. Got a 5th one. Compliment them. So we acknowledged, and I taught you how to acknowledge, but why not just compliment them? Really like what you've done with your website, lovely photo, different compliments. So you might be like, well, what's the difference between an acknowledgement and a compliment? So oftentimes acknowledgement is acknowledging who they're being, and a compliment can be more so around their doing, right? And compliments often come after the fact, and acknowledgement can also come before. So there's your 5. There's your 5. Which one of these do you think you're going to use more so in your life in order to cheerlead others rather than compete? And which ones are you already using? And hey, you might even have some that I didn't mention, more than likely, and I would love to hear those as well. Thank you so much for listening to this week's podcast. If you've missed some, don't worry, you can go back, you can listen. And if you found this message helpful, please share with a friend. Sharing is caring. And if you haven't yet, I'd really, really appreciate it if you could write a review and let others know what they can expect from this show, in order for them to be able to self-select, to say like, yeah, I'm going to go check that out. And if you have any ideas for shows that you would love for me to cover, please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to cover them if it's in my wheelhouse of knowledge and expertise, or if I have a good story about it. Okay. Until next time, everyone, stay dynamic. Bye.